buy that. So why we even talk about the glass? The most important thing is, of course, to protect the display from our point of view, but not only. As you can see on the devices that I show here, the glass is element of the design, I would say. Yes, so it makes the device beautiful. It makes it looks better, and can be designed in a way that protect, as I said, not only the display, but could be the entire surface of a device. Like here in this coffee machine, for example, we have not only a display, but maybe some additional graphic, or like the whole front of this device. Glass is one of the best materials that we use in electronic to protect the screens, because it's very hard and it's hard to scratch. So mechanically it's pretty strong. It's a cheap material, and is very good in optics. So we have a high transparency rate of the glass, like more than 90% or even more than 95% in some cases. And the glass is it's widely available, I would say. Yes, so we know a lot of techniques how to manufacture the glass and how to prepare it for some special, even the most, let's say, advanced designs. We can change the shape of the glass quite easily nowadays. Yes, so here we have some examples, and now let's talk about types of the glass that we use to protect the screens and protect the devices. So mainly we use two types of the glass. One is a chemically strengthened glass. We call it a CS glass, from chemically strengthened, of course. And we use sometimes thermally tempered glass, like hardened glass, where we use a high temperature. So if you will go and see our standard products, what we use on the touch screens, the cover glass is typically chemically strengthened glass. It's like 1 millimeter for us. The standard will be 1.1 millimeter thickness, and this kind of glass is pretty strong comparing to the regular glass. Yes. So what does it mean, chemical strengthening? It means that we treat the surface with some ions, usually silver, and we increase the strength of the surface of the glass, because glass usually break when the surface breaks. So we don't change the glass internally with the chemical strengthening. We just change the surface hardness, and it's enough to make the glass way stronger. As you can see in this table, we can make the glass even 6 times or 8 times mechanically stronger than the regular one with chemical strengthening. And this is pretty long process. So as you see, it can take several hours, and we need high temperature, like 400 and a little more degrees. And then we can compare it to thermally tempered glass, which is different way of strengthening the glass. It's just use the high temperature and like pretty fast cooling. So we need higher temperature, like 700 degrees. This process is way faster, just several minutes. And what we achieve is also strong glass, like 4 to 5 times stronger, comparing to regular float glass, but not as strong as chemically strengthened glass. Yes. Here we have some advantages and disadvantages that are worth to mention. So for chemically strengthened glass, we can use very thin glass. Actually, 2.8 is not like the thickest glass we can do. We can chemically strengthen the glass as thick as we want, but we normally don't do it. I will explain that. But we can also chemically strengthen the very thin glass, like 0.5 millimeter or 0.7 or 1.1 that we normally use on our touch screens. So it's no problem, because we just treat the surface. This process is a little more expensive than thermally tempered glass. But we still use it. And why we use it? Because the thermally tempered glass we cannot use in a thin glass. Yes. So as you can see here, the thinnest glass that we can thermally temper will be like 3 millimeter, and actually 4 millimeter is the best to start. In some cases we can do 3 millimeter. If we go lower with the thickness, if we want to strengthen thermally the glass that is thinner, let's say 2 millimeter or 1 millimeter, with the high temperature, the glass start to floating and the surface won't be flat again. Yes? So it's really hard to control this process with the very thin glass. So normally we do it only for the thick glass. So if we have a thick glass, cheaper will be to use thermally tempered solution. That's why it's more popular. That's why here we have only 2.8 millimeter. Like typically, if we go to thicker glass, we will use thermally tempered. For the thinner glasses, we will use chemically strengthened because we cannot use this process. Yes, so we have two different ways to do it, and for different thicknesses of the glass, I would say. Yes. So these are the main differences, I would say, here. Okay, so after I discuss the properties of chemically strengthened glass and thermally tempered glass, I will show you the other difference that these two have. So here on the left side, you can see the chemically strengthened glass broken, and here is the thermally tempered glass broken. So this is also quite important because the chemically strengthened glass breaks like a regular glass because we don't change the internal part of the glass. As I said, we only treat the surface, we make the surface stronger, but inside the glass is exactly the same as regular float glass. So it breaks like regular float glass. But the thermally tempered glass actually change internal structure of the glass, and as you probably know, you have seen the glass like that, it breaks into these very small pieces, which in many cases is better because it's more safe. So this kind of pieces are maybe dangerous, could be dangerous, but this kind of pieces are pretty safe for humans. So that's why we normally use thermally tempered glass in a car or any place that we may have like impact on humans. So these tiny pieces. Here we have additionally laminated glass, so that's why it won't break. I will talk about it later as well. So here you have the differences how it breaks. Yes. Okay, so another property, let's say, or type of the glass that we can talk about is Optiwhite and float. Float is the most common glass that we use in architectural designs, but also in many cases like touchscreens. We use float, is most common, most popular, and of course the cheapest. But sometimes we need to have very good, let's say, colors as planned, especially like light colors, white colors, etc. So we use the glass that is called Optiwhite. How we achieve that? We just remove the iron from the glass. Normally the float glass has a little bit of iron, and which makes it green or greenish. If we look, straight, maybe we don't see that, but if we look like from the edge, we can see this green color. And of course, if we put the white background, we will see this greenish color a little bit. So there is something like Optiwhite, and in some projects we can use it, especially, as I said, if you have a white background, then it's worth to at least consider. Usually it's a little bit more expensive, so it's worth to check with the manufacturer of the pickup what we can use in our case.